Hey family, I'm Touré Roberts, they call me PT, and I'm excited about the conversation that you are getting ready to experience. I've been fortunate, I've been blessed to meet some incredible people along my journey. People who have just got something real special about them. So special that doors of influence have opened to them. And they've done great things in their sphere of influence. And I want to introduce you to them. They're special. They're talented, they're amazing, they've done great things, but what I love most about them is that they have maintained humility, they have stayed grounded, and most of all, they have stayed balanced. I want to introduce you to some friends of mine. I want to introduce you to Leanne.
Hello.
I want to introduce you to Kells.
Hello.
And I want to introduce you to my son-in-law now, Tyler. And we're going to have a conversation today about balance and influence. So important. So before we jump into it, I want to take a moment and just have each one introduce themselves. Leanne, can you just introduce yourself and tell us all who you are and what you're up to?
My name is Liane V, Liane Valenzuela. I am from Northern California, Modesto to be exact. A small city, and moving to LA, I moved to LA 2006, and I knew that after high school, I wanted to move to LA. I wanted to pursue my dreams, and doing that alone, thinking about it already is so scary. And I know the LA world is a whole different world. And I know that I wanted to move to LA. I felt that God was calling me to be a light in the industry. And my dad always told me, like, Leanne, you're going to be a light in the world. And, I feel that I'm so blessed and grateful to have a family that supported my dreams. And also, you have been such a big blessing in my family. A lot of us always talk about you every week. We watch your sermons everywhere you are in the world. And it's amazing to see you grow, because seeing you from when we saw that church, in North Hollywood, you had maybe 10 people.
You remember that?
And
that hot church in the summertime.
We got the fans. I remember if you were late, you became the choir.
Right,
so you had to walk to the front.
Let's go.
I'm late and I'm right here. But I remember when I moved to LA, I'm like, I gotta find a church. I gotta make sure like my faith is strong. And I visited a few churches, but we connected. I loved your services. Was just such an amazing blessing in my life again. Like, I can't even explain how much you've really, really been such a big part of our life. And to see you grow from, again, the small church to where you are now. And to be here at this table to talk about this is a full circle.
100%.
And moving again to LA, I do a lot of different things. I didn't think that I would ever be an influencer. It wasn't even a thing back then.
That's true.
It wasn't. It was not an option.
Yeah.
No one talked about social media marketing, brand partnerships, all of that. And it was interesting because being one of the first few to pave the way and understand, like, okay, this brand's giving me free stuff, I'll do it for free. And now it's like they're putting a price tag on it, and now how much do I charge? And it's been so interesting to see a lot of my friends go through this, and also remembering your worth, not settling for less, saying, oh, I'll do this for that price for sure. And that's another thing of balance. You have to learn to balance being true to yourself, but also taking the opportunity and know that you're not settling for less.
Yes.
And it's been such a journey, and I've done multiple things before social media. I was doing music, I was doing dance classes, acting classes, I was a backup singer, I worked at a car dealership, like multiple things to figure out, like, God, what do you want me to do? I'm here. Like, let's do it. Right. And so, again, nothing was planned. I just went with the flow, trusting in God. And again, my plans were a joke. It's not a joke, but I look back at it and I'm like, okay, I see why you did that, God.
Right.
I see that why the connection happened, or why this had to happen. And a lot of it wasn't always good. A lot of it was very painful to go through, a lot of disappointments and no's and doors closing and being made fun of, also being Filipino and, from a small city, like, who is this girl? And she's making some kind of noise with Vine. So Vine was what got me with the followers. I didn't
Where is Vine? Where did Vine go?
Vine
is gone.
It's
gone. They tried to bring it back, but
they definitely did.
You know what's crazy though? I want to, because your story is fascinating. We're going to unpack it. But you know what's interesting? Something hit me when you said there wasn't this influencer market, and there wasn't.
No.
Like,
not at all.
You go back 15 years, what is an influencer? It wasn't even there. But what's interesting is it's all about the individual person. That's
Yes.
different. You had celebrity, you had stardom, but it was basically all around the person's role,
For sure.
their
Yeah,
acting ability.
yeah.
Whereas now, and I think this is a God thing, whereas now it's about who you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
And being confident in who you are, embracing who you are. And it was almost like God created an industry around that,
Yeah.
while at the
Crazy.
same time giving messages about wholeness, giving messages about purpose, about
Yeah.
identity. That's insane. We're gonna.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, like, when it was a process of transitioning to being an influencer, people looked at us like, who is this new kid?
Oh yeah,
And they're like, I'm not an influencer. I'm a real actor. I'm a
Right.
real
Oh, yeah.
person.
That was
It
the-
made us
that was
feel
the
like
phrase.
Right, that's true.
I'm a real
just
actor.
trying to fit in and make it work for myself. Like, this is a whole new
man.
life. And
Yeah.
now it's funny because you look back and everybody wants to do it now.
But see, here's the thing: like when God is doing something, when there's a grace on something, you can't stop it because there's some people who got really popular and people question whether or not, as a family, they should be popular and all that kind of stuff. But you can't get mad at what God did.
Yeah.
Like all influence
Yes.
comes from God.
Yes, sir.
And so, but that the embracing of self, and that's a part of balance. And we're going to talk so much more about it. I want to introduce some of my other guests. Kelz.
Hello.
Tell us about you. I know you're amazing, you're incredible, or you wouldn't be sitting here at this table. I know your heart, you are a great, fantastic, awesome human being. And I have a great deal of love and respect for you. I know this, but tell the world who you are.
Well, I mean,
and what you're up
PT,
to.
you just gave a great introduction.
You're right. You might not even
Oh,
do
and
it.
humble.
At this point,
I'm going humble, by the way.
But thank you for that. Honestly, thank you also for having me here. I am Kelz, right? I am from Florida. I decided to move out to LA in 2016. I got my first taste of coming to LA in 2015. And when I got here, it was just something that said, you need to be here. I don't know if it was God. I don't know what it was. It had to be God.
Yeah.
Because I'm obviously here for a reason. But when I got here and when I went back home, I was like, I'm out of here. 2016, this is my plan. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it work because in Florida, you don't have many options. You can either be an actress or you can be a model, but I knew that I was so much more. Like, I knew that I had to spread
Absolutely.
who I am and show people that if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yes.
And also being raised by a single mother, her raising two boys, that was tough for her. And I had some things that I was dealing with within myself, and it was getting into trouble a lot. So I feel like God placed me out here to show once again that, I can work through you and I need you to show people that I did this. So that just felt great for me. And people may not know this, but Ty and I were actually roommates when I first moved out here.
No way.
Ty actually took me in. I asked him, I'm like, yo, bro, can I stay with you? And he was like, sure, bro. So, we went through our whole journey together, and to just see us here sitting at the table with you and Leanne,
Crazy.
and, just everyone is just like, this is all God's work.
Absolutely.
So I say all that just to say, when God wants to use you, he will definitely use you, and he will make you an influence.
That's powerful.
To get back to influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were the first influencers.
Wow.
Now we're influencing people.
Wow.
See how that works? I just think it's so beautiful.
I've got a question for you, Kelz. You were talking about, so you came to LA.
Yes.
And then you went back home. And then you said, I have to be there. But it almost seemed like when you were telling the story, you knew that you were called to be and do something great.
Absolutely.
But you didn't quite know what it was. Did I read that right?
You definitely did. Because, PT, I was literally working at Party City. I was working at Party City, and I used to do Vine videos at Party City. That's how bad I wanted to get out of Florida. I knew that I had to leave. Because if I didn't, I was just going to end up in trouble, keep being in trouble. And I'm just like, this is not who I am. This isn't my life.
So it was a sensing.
It was literally a
deep
sensing.
sensing.
It was literally a deep sensing, and I had to remove myself from that. And you come out here and you meet great people, because I used to be a victim of social anxiety. It was so bad for me. It was like,
Wait.
I know.
That's crazy.
Right.
It's hard to believe.
No, you can't just run past that.
It's hard
Yeah.
to believe.
Kells,
Kells.
what?
Extrovert Kells.
I was.
What?
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I used to
True.
literally be. I had social anxiety so bad because I used to think, people are looking at me like, what if they think this? Because being in Florida, that's how it was. It was like, you're not good enough, or you always got told no's, or you're not gonna be anything. You're just gonna stay stuck here, and you can't evolve. And moving out here, I guess it proved a lot of people wrong because I'm totally evolving.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
And I don't know. I just feel like, my life has literally changed, and I cannot wait to share that with the world.
So you had to overcome, and we're going to introduce Tyler in a second, but you had to overcome a deficit mentality.
Absolutely.
And I talk about that a lot in the book. The difference between having an abundance mentality and a deficit mentality, but you had to follow the promptings of your soul
For sure.
to get to an environment where the deficit mentality could suffocate and ultimately drown, and the abundance mentality could come forth.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to come back. Just remind me to come back to that,
Yes.
because that's good. And I want
really
to talk
good.
about that. Tyler, tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
yourself.
absolutely.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Ty, or Tyler, as my pops call me. He's mentioned that he is my father in love. But my journey, because you guys all brought up your journey, it's crazy to be sitting at this table. It is full circle, because there's a way that I was connected to Leanne, and I was connected to PT, and I was connected to Kells. It's just a divine orchestration. But I moved out to LA at 18. Fresh out of high school, and I just had this knowing since I was probably 13, is when, in a way, like before influence was a thing and being an influencer, I was on this dance tour. And when I got on that dance tour, and when I found dance, which is the thing that kind of like showed me like, oh, there's something special in you, and like you're meant to be in front of people and entertain, and you've already got this boisterous personality, so like this is it. Like you can get up on a stage and dance and be who be free. It was ultimately finding that freedom in dance, and that is the thing that led me to then finding acting and saying, you know what, I'm moving to LA. And when I got here, there was this knowing, like, man, I have something here. I don't quite know what it is. I know that I want to be an actor, and I started to make friends with a lot of people who were coming up on Vine at the time. We mentioned Vine, and they were like, man, you have all these great ideas and all these things, and you come in here ready to go, and you're serving, you're in the background, and you're, just an extra or whatever. Why don't you start making your own videos? Why don't you start doing your own thing? And I was like, I never thought about it, because I was like, I'm trying to do the acting thing. I'm like, I'm going to let y'all do the videos, and that's cool. But then I started making videos and really exploring my creativity in production, and my acting started to kind of take its own course, and I really was getting great opportunities. And then, like Leanne, I tried a bunch of different churches, and I believed in God, and I thought that was great, but God grabbed me. God pulled me out of, it's crazy because God pulled me out of the industry. He pulled me out of the influence. He pulled me out of the acting world and into this, I won't even call it religion. I won't call it ministry. It was this reality of a relationship with God and my identity and purpose, like my purpose for real. And I laid it all down. Me and PT have an amazing moment that marked my life, but that was the thing that kind of set me apart to say, okay, I can really be in a relationship with God. And in being in a relationship with God, I can find out what my purpose is. I need to go after that.
Let me jump in there real
Yes,
quick.
sir.
So many people, and perhaps even someone who's watching or listening to this right now, is trying to break into the industry. They're trying to, there's this idea about the cool club, this place where, you're recognized, where, the casting, agent is calling your phone. The deals are coming in. Vogue wants you to do a cover shoot. They're trying
So
to
crazy.
they're trying to get into this world, and yet you got into the world, and God pulled you out of it to make you better.
Absolutely.
That's crazy because
Yes.
like I mentioned, everybody's trying to get in.
Yes, sir.
People from you're from Nebraska. People from all over the world come to LA trying to get in. You get in and God pulls you out to protect you.
Yes, sir.
Meaning that had he not pulled you out to protect you, what do you think would have happened to you?
Oh, I can tell you the person I was when I was at, like, I'll call it the peak of what I thought was like, oh, if I get this series regular role on this show, on this major network, boom, like I'm the guy. The cover is open and they're like, oh, this is Ty. Like, the world will finally know who Ty is.
Yeah.
But who Ty was back then compared to the man I am today, oh my goodness, it's a night and day difference. It's a transformation that I now, at the time I was like, man, so I'll go back to that laying everything down, because I had to get to a place with God first where I said, all right, I'm seeing that I can really be in relationship with you. I hear the words coming out of my pastor's mouth saying, like, lay it down, surrender, etc. I'm hearing this. I want that. I want to do that. So I had this unction, this moment to just surrender and say, whatever that looks like, God, I surrender my life to you. Meaning the industry, the social media that was blooming and blossoming, the videos that I was doing, all the things. I lay it out right here before you. And I want you, God, to do whatever it is that you want to do. I did not know what I was getting myself into. Within the next week, manager calls, they drop me. And they dropped me for something random. And I was pinned on the board for these major shows. And to your point, now looking back at
hold on. That's devastating. No, don't.
Oh my goodness.
Let's not because I want people to, particularly if they aren't in the industry, they don't understand.
Yeah.
To be dropped, to have your career be, I'm an actor, I'm a dancer, I'm in entertainment, and your doorway to the opportunities is your agent, right, or your manager, or however your deal is structured. So to be dropped, no, let's stop right there. Is to be majorly rejected, because the reason why your manager or your agent gets involved with you is because they believe in you. And so they are part of your support system. They're a part of your affirmation about self or whatever. If they say, and you're already, so they believe in you, then you got to go out into a world and try to get the world, the industry to believe in 100%. You, right? So to have your agent is like, that's your dog. Woo, that's your cheerleader. When no one believes in you, your agent, your manager believes in you. And the worst thing that can happen to talent is for their agent to drop you. That is to say, not only does the world question about you, the industry, but I don't believe in you. That's devastating.
It was.
That's devastating.
It could have crushed me. But there was always, and you actually write about it in the book, there was always this peace that I had. And I'd never had that peace until after I had that moment of surrender. That's when I received this peace that I was like, no matter what happens, I'm content. It's well with my soul.
Okay, you said something. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to have we got a lot of ground to cover. But you mentioned two words in the same sentence, surrender and peace.
Yes, sir.
And in Balance, there's a chapter called Surrendering to Peace. And the premise there is that peace is not something you attain. Peace is already there. You and I just have to surrender our anxiety,
yes, sir,
our fear, our sometimes even our ambition, our dreams, sometimes to that peace that's there. If you look up the word peace in I was going to say in the Bible. No, you look up that word peace in the dictionary, it literally is, peace is the absence of conflict, the absence of war, the absence of strife. That's interesting. How is a word, this word is only a word, can only be defined by the absence of something, which means that it exists. And so anything that disrupts it, is anti-peace. And so we have to surrender to it. It's there. In any moment, in our most frustrating moment, peace is somewhere. Isn't that amazing? Peace.
You have to find the peace in every situation.
Because it's there. And we're frantic and we're anxious and we're, oh my God. In that case with you and your agent dropping you, right? I mean, look, that's devastating. Like, whoa, but somewhere in it, like you said, somehow you found peace. Like this should wreck me. But I first, and I'm not fighting it, I'm accepting it. There's this, I talk about it in the book. I love martial arts. I learned judo when I was a kid, Krav Maga later in life, and recently I've been studying this martial art called Aikido. It's a Japanese martial art, and one of the cool things about Aikido is when your opponent is coming against you, the aggressor is coming against you, the way that you overcome your aggressor is not to confront it with equal energy, but it is to receive that energy and use that energy and that strength of your opponent and turn yourself
So crazy,
and gain victory. That's how life is. Stuff, life will throw stuff at you. And a lot of times we're so busy saying no. Even like have you ever had something crazy happening and you're like, no! You're trying to reject it, not accept it, right? But it's happening. Right?
Absolutely.
It is happening.
Yes.
So we're wired almost to try to stop it. When really sometimes in many situations, not about stopping it, it's learning how to turn with it.
Absolutely. To piggyback off of that, I was put on blast on social media. It went so viral because of the skits that I used to do. And some people didn't approve of it. Because I fought fuel with the fire, it blew up. And it was so bad.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I was panicking like crazy. But then something inside of me was just like, you know what? Surrender. Surrender and have peace.
Wow.
If you trust in me and if you believe in me and if you walk with me on this journey, I'm gonna show you things that are going to blow your mind.
Wow.
I kid you not, because I journal every day. Every day I journal, I call it writing messages to God. And when that happened, I just started journaling like crazy. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start planning out, manifesting, doing all these things. I wanna live downtown LA. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I'm gonna focus more on my fashion. Don't know when it's gonna happen because fashion is like literally, my top priority. I love it so
Clearly,
much. But
I wish I
think we can see somehow, some way.
but
should lift your pants leg up.
but I literally wanted to, break into that industry because when I was living at home, I was literally working at Party City and also in college. So I was trying to balance the two, trying to figure out how am I gonna do all of this. So anyways, when that happened, when I went viral on social media for, this person trying to expose me or call me out, it actually backfired in their face because of me surrendering and keeping my peace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before, I used to be a ticking time bomb. Like I would just get so angry, like the smallest things would just really just make me so upset and blow up. And I realized I was throwing that anger out because of what I was dealing with within. And I had to find peace within myself. So now when these attacks come at me, I'm just like, dodging it like the Matrix. Like, you can't even touch me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Yeah. I think people really should listen to that song because all the things that he is saying is so true. If you surrender your life and if you stay at peace, when you have God on your side, what can touch you?
There's an awareness. You're talking about, because what you're saying is powerful. You're also talking about a breakthrough that came through an awareness. And one of the things that I love about balance is I talk about awareness. I talk about the two types of awareness, self-awareness and soul awareness. And self-awareness, I'm glad that self-awareness is a very popular buzzword. We need to try to understand, who we are, to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it so that we can gain control of it. But sometimes the awareness needs to go a little deeper than that.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like you did some deep soul awareness work to find out, listen, I am mad, but I'm mad because of some things that I am dealing with. See, it's so noisy. Like, I mean, and you all are influencers. You understand social media. Social media is a contributor to the noise of the world.
It's like noise.
So noisy, so noisy that you can't hear what your soul was trying to teach you.
Amen.
But some sort of way, you were able to silence the noise and get down to the root issue and to really discern the promptings of your soul. How did you do that?
I literally, like I said, writing messages to God, also listening to Stevie Wonder's album, Songs is the key of songs in the key of life.
You know about
Oh,
that.
come on, PT.
What you know about
Have
that?
a talk with God is my
What? You
song.
better stop
Have
it.
a talk with God is my song. Okay. Let me tell you, the messages and the love that he's spreading on that album, I'm like, this is me.
Yeah.
I want to do this. This is who I am. I know that I am this person, but because I'm dealing with my issues, I'm walking around so angry. So you know what? Let's tackle all these. It's gonna be tough.
Wow.
Oh, it's going to be tough. I literally was walking through hell with heaven on my side. Like literally.
that's a word.
I was doing it. And once my peace just started to come and form, I'm like, I can breathe. I think the final chapter that I had to close in my life to be fully at peace was to reach out to my father and close that chapter, because I also realized I was angry at the world because I didn't have that person that I wanted in my life so bad.
Wow.
But I have millions of other people that want to be in my life. But I can't love them the way that I want to love them because I'm so angry right now. I'm mad. So once I closed that chapter with my father, I just was like, oh my God, the world is so different now. Now I can go about accepting the love and spreading the love and spreading positivity and showing people that, hey, I'm a peaceful person. You can be peaceful as well if you just surrender and handle your problems. Handle your own problems. Do not throw them on people.
You what you're saying is incredible. You prioritized you. There's this conversation, we didn't plan it.
No.
Like this
Not at all.
conversation is balanced. One of the chapters is there's no team and I.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's all about self-prioritization. And I've learned that, the subtitle of the book is called Balance, positioning yourself to do all things well. But notice it's positioning yourself.
Yes.
The emphasis is on self. If I get myself together, if I am a balanced person, then I'll have balanced relationships. I'll have productivity that goes to another level. I have creativity and innovation. It's about prioritizing me. And I can relate on the father side. Like I know you can, because your dad is absolutely. You have.
I love it.
Leanne.
My dad is my best friend.
And he has always been amazing like that. Like
That's amazing.
for real, just
really
big heart or whatever. But I had a great dad. I didn't understand his love. It was love. It was his version of love. But I didn't understand it because it didn't feel anything like my mom's love. My
Right.
mom's love was, it's like,
Right,
come here,
right,
boy,
right,
come on,
right.
come here, boy. Oh, you're my baby. You know what I mean? And you get that. And when I look back and I consider, he grew up in the 60s, Vietnam vet, Jim Crow, all this sort of stuff. He was around it. So he was very hard, and he's raising a son that's going to go into that world. So his love is to make me tough and is to make me strong, right? And I misinterpreted it. I said, oh, he doesn't love me because he's not hugging on me, he's not doing this. Every time he sees me, he's correcting me, you know what I mean? Do this right and do this right. And I'm thinking, you don't like me, because if you like me, you would tell me that I did something well. And I didn't find out until he died. His friends at the funeral were coming up to me and they were saying, oh, Touré, your dad was so proud of you.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay, you just trying,
Wow.
And then someone else came up to me, Touré, hey man, you wrote a book, right? Yeah. It's my first book. He's like, your dad was so proud. He talks about you all the time. Another person, hey, Touré, oh man, your dad was so, and I broke down and I wept. I never knew that he felt that way about me, Now, not everyone is going to be able to have that opportunity to reconcile.
Right.
And so you have to get to a place, regardless of any external factor, you have to get to a place where you really love yourself.
I agree 1,000%. And I love people. I'm a people person. But once again, like I said, I couldn't do it because I was just so angry. And I'm like, I don't want to live this life. I want to have peace. That's my main priority. That's why I have my social media, because I want to spread that love. Before, I thought I wanted to be famous or have fame and all the money and this and that, but that's not what it's about. I knew my heart wasn't in that place. I thought it was. I wanted it to be because I thought that's what you needed to be successful in life or be this great person in LA. Because if you don't know this person or that person, like you were saying, it's like, who are you?
You know, speaking about people in general, like moving to LA with a lot of different people, even chasing the same dream of becoming a star.
Right.
Yeah.
And even with my parents, we were just talking last night about how do you manage different personalities? You have so many friends that come in, they'll be like this, they'll be like angry of this, or just different personalities you have to juggle. How do you not get offended? How do you love people and know if they're in it for the wrong reasons, if they have bad motives? And what you were talking about, like the love of your mother versus the love of your dad, or love language in general, that's one thing I've learned with my family. Like, everyone has their own way of showing love.
Absolutely.
And in order to love somebody, you have to understand how they receive it.
Absolutely.
And I've opened up and learned a lot of that with my friends, because I'm a very people person too. I love having my friends around, and my mom's like, this person left, now you have another person here. Even Don, like, I'm married now, and he's like, look, babe, when's our time? You know, we need our us time.
For sure.
And it's interesting to understand, like, learning different personalities and how to love others. And even with my mother-in-law, like, I love her and she loves different from my mom, and she'll talk to me about, you know, how come your mom doesn't do this? Well, her love language is acts of service. She loves to cook, she loves to clean, and if she's doing that for you, she loves you. So it's just understanding, you know, the love language of other people and how they share their love. You have to understand how they receive it as well.
I agree 1,000%. Mine's is gift giving. Like, I'm a gifter. Like, if you gonna know if I love you, I'm going for sure. You know what I'm saying? And also, I like to also, like, tell people I love them.
Affirmations.
Affirmations
Yes.
as well.
The
I
words.
love that. I really do. It makes me feel so great inside, because you don't know what people are going through. And the
Yeah.
fact that you took time out of your day to tell someone, hey,
Yeah.
hope you have a great day, just showing love.
It means so
Today's
much.
a new
It
day.
does.
Exactly.
It
You
really
don't
does.
know how you can affect people's lives. Even when I'm grocery shopping, like, I literally try to have conversation with people, because I remember being on a 9 to 5. It's a lot.
Yeah.
You have to deal with different personalities. But if one kind person says something to you, you can probably change their whole day. You don't know. So
Especially in this time. You know, I had to get, so, you know, when COVID happened and all these workplaces shut down, restaurants, hotels, et cetera, and then there was a time when they opened back up again, and the service everywhere was poor. You know, it just wasn't what it was. I mean,
Right.
you go
It's
to
changed.
Four Seasons, you go to top 5-star
Right.
hotels, and the service is a little trippy. And I ain't gonna lie, at first I was like, hey,
I'm here.
you know.
Right.
But then I got convicted, and it was like, first of all, the world just went through a pandemic. You know, people lost loved ones.
Yes.
People lost jobs, lost homes, lost money. Have a little grace.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and it changed everything, and it just brought me to another level of humility, gratitude. You know, the only reason
Yes.
why I can go to, you know, one of those places is because what happened to half the country didn't
Right.
happen to me at the time.
Right.
And so I love what you're talking about, being intentional. I mean, and even with your influence,
Yeah.
bring it back to influence. Like what do you feel, and this is for each of you, like, what do you feel a responsibility with your influence? And kind of talk to us about, you know, because it's one thing, you know, some people, I just want to be I want, you know, 1 million followers on social
Yeah.
media. I want all this, I want all that.
Absolutely.
But do you know to whom much is given,
Yes.
Right.
much is required? So
Right.
what is required of you according to the influence that you've been given?
Yeah. Do you want to
No,
jump
go
in?
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would say when it comes to influence, my outlook on it has actually went through an evolution. To your point about even the industry of being an influencer, I went from, I want to have followers so that I can post these videos and get a lot of likes and comments and engagement, to now it's like, if I'm influencing people, am I actually adding value to their lives? Am I actually helping somebody? Am I actually giving them what I've been blessed to receive, which is that awareness of my purpose, of my calling, of the fact that I'm chosen? Am I leading people to find that there's something within them that's worth discovering? Because there's this divine plan for your life, and everyone has a divine plan for their life. And I feel like my calling and my prompt for what I'm supposed to do with my influence is to help people find that for themselves by using my testimony, by using my story, by using things that I've went through, and not just using mine, but allowing other people that I know. I'm blessed to have great relationships with folks like Kells, and of course Leanne and I have had relationship in the past. A lot of friends and people that I know, and I'm like, man, I want to use the platform that we all have and give everyone an opportunity to now say, hey, we went through all this, we're influencers, you might see us as this, but actually we have a story, we have a testimony, and we discovered that there's something in us that was there, and now we're walking it out. So to lead people to find what that is, and not just give them something that lacks substance, but to really give them wholeness, to lead them to purpose awakening, to lead them to balance where we're at right now, and use my life and my story and the things that I've went through and my giftings to convey that story to people.
I love that. For me, also, your videos are just so amazing. I'll be like, oh my God, I need an inspirational quote. Let me go to time.
Thank God for inspiration.
Right.
We inspire each other.
Let me tell you,
Absolutely.
like, seriously.
I'm inspired by
Yes.
both of y'all. I
No,
mean, and of course, PT.
Of course,
but
absolutely.
yeah.
Appreciate that. But that's my purpose of doing it, to inspire others, and also to show people that, you can be at peace. Also, I wasn't very family oriented, so I like to big up my friends. I want to show people that, hey, you may not have a family, or you may not have people that you trust like that, but if you come to my page and you see, oh my God, well, Kells used to be this way, and now he's doing this, because I look at my posts that I post now versus what I used to post back then. I was very negative. I was very, 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 very negative because I was going through that dark time. But now it's like, wow, I'm on my social media page. All I see is peaceful things, peaceful quotes. Oh my gosh, I actually know the people that I'm following. I like these people. Oh my God, this is great. I feel great about this. And that's what I want people to gain from, coming to my page. This person is really a peaceful person. His videos really inspired me. They helped me. Before, my videos were all over the place. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, what is happening? But now it's like, I know what I'm going to give you. However, also I want to show people that you can branch into being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Because that's my lane. I'm literally an entrepreneur that used to do videos, but I didn't want to do them anymore. It was something for me. I felt like I wanted to start I am starting a legacy for my family, for my family that I'm going to create. I want my children to be able to be like, oh, we have something to fall back on, or if we want to take over this company that my father did, we can do that. So that is my sole purpose for, when people, look at my social media page. I want them to be inspired.
I love it. I love it.
So being like an influencer is being a leader. We have followers. And to know that in your mind is one thing, but to see it when you post and you see likes go up and comments go up, and you start seeing the comments that people say, and you're like, what, these people, they want to see more. And it becomes a responsibility because you feel the need to have to keep serving and giving content. And content is hard. Like, people don't realize how much work goes on behind the camera. Someone holding the light, someone getting this, someone makeup, right? It's a whole job. And we wear many hats, videographer, we film ourselves, we make sure the sound, we edit. I learned to do so many things because I couldn't afford an editor. I couldn't afford a photographer. I faked my interviews, this is a real interview. I'll be by myself, like, so your question was, and I would talk to myself.
Talk to yourself. But
that fake it to make it thing was like, I'm gonna make them believe that I have a voice. And so being an influencer and to be able to carry that responsibility is weight. And it can also be an addiction because now it's like, I gotta do this because now they like this, now that's trending, so I got, and you have to balance your peace because sometimes even one comment, I don't care what anyone says, comments can still get
for
sure.
sure.
Because they're like, how do you just do that and you don't care? We do grow thicker skin, but our skin is there. We feel those little things, or they'll notice the littlest things that, how do they even notice that? Like, I'm here talking about this, and I'm talking about this my dog in the background doing this. Like, it's very tough, and it is a responsibility because you are a voice, and people look to you for guidance, and it is a blessing. It feels good, you know, to be able to connect with people like that and to know that you're making a difference. Because when you get those comments and messages like, you are making a difference in my life, you made me change my life, and you saved my life even, it's like, it does something to us, and it makes you hungrier for more. And I think that's why we're all here, to continue
100%.
feeding
Absolutely.
our audience
Couldn't
with
agree
that
more.
knowledge and with that love. And that's why I feel, even for my content, we have to be picky with what we choose to talk about and what we do with others. And like you said, being an example is enough. And I remember when I was younger and, you know, growing up at the church, and I'm like, I want everyone to be saved. Read this Bible. And begging people with the Bible. And my dad's like, you can't do that, Leanne. You live by example. So I'm learning all of this. And being an influencer, you have to know when being comfortable, even to talk about your faith, is also a very tough thing to do, because am I okay? Are they gonna, you know, but at the same time you want to be true to yourself. This is who I am. And that's where I feel that I've grown to be able to know when I know it's okay to share my faith and not make them feel uncomfortable. But it's like, let's talk about this. Like, I'm gonna show you, it worked for me. You know, praying about this. So I just use my life as an example. Like you said, you use yours, and yours, like, it's fun, but it's work, and it is a responsibility.
Absolutely.
That's you said a whole bunch of things that are extremely powerful, but one word you mentioned was weight. And to have influence is weight. And sometimes that weight can throw you out of balance.
Yes.
What does out of balance look like for you in your life, and what do you do to recenter yourself?
So I live with my parents, with my husband, Don, and I mean, living with your parents, a lot of people, my culture, we love to live with our family. And every time I wake up, there could be so many different personalities, even on your phone. First thing you wake up, you want to look at your phone. And I practice not, you know, doing that. I try to have my me time, my meditation, which was also an exercise that's really tough to do, because that's our habit. But for me, if my mom may have an argument about something, or my dad, or, you know, me and Don, like, for me, I've always, it's a muscle. Our brain is like, you train your mind to refocus and how to be at peace in every situation. We are human. We get angry. We can yell, and we may have an emotion. I've done counseling, therapy, and it's an exercise that you have to take, because people say, how in the heck, even when I got married, how are you so calm in this? This is, you know, I got married in Hawaii, and it was between a pandemic and shutdown. And there was a hurricane. And it was right between the hurricane and the shutdown. So everyone was freaking out. It's a destination wedding. And through all that chaos, the storm is happening the day before. I'm having an outdoor wedding. Everyone is having issues coming to the island. It was crazy. And I just, you know what? I'm going to manifest sunlight. I'm going to manifest that God is going to make this happen, and it's going to happen. And we prayed about it. And the next morning, the sun came out. Shutdown happened at 10 p.m. that day. And it happened. So that right there was the biggest ultimate test for me, because, you know, it's a big moment in my life. And to understand, like, you know what? God is showing you, I'm in control. What's going to happen is supposed to happen. So I just find peace in that, and I just recenter myself with prayer and conversation with my family. And you just figure that out, you know, through the process of going through those things. It's an exercise. And later on, it's going to be so natural. It's like, oh, I know. It's okay. The world is falling apart, but I'm good. It's going to be fine.
I love that.
I agree with that. For me, I definitely fall down on my knees and pray. I always pray, or I have to meditate. If I feel like my balance is off, I will stop everything that I'm doing, and I will start to meditate and just be at peace again, regain my peace back. Because sometimes you need a recharge. It's a lot of things that will be thrown at you. It's, for me, I call them tests. I'm like, okay, God, you tested me right now. I know what I got to do. Breathe and just reset my mind. Do not let this one thing trigger me. Because like I said, I used to be a ticking time bomb. I will blow up at the smallest things. You know.
Oh yeah, no, we lived together for almost 6 years. I know.
You definitely
I know.
But I don't want to go back to that place. That's not who I am. I am a new person. So once again, you have to just take that recharge. It's like meditation, praying, and also once again just journaling, just finding your peace, regaining your peace back, not letting people get to you. So that's what works out for me.
I love it.
For sure.
Ty?
For me, I like to take drives. Like, I like to get out. I can't, if I feel myself getting out of balance, whether it's the weight of, social media and influence, or whether it's just the weight of life and the responsibilities I have, sometimes I just need to clear everything around me. My environment needs to shift. I can't just be in my four walls, just sitting in the home office or in my bedroom. I can't do that. I have to get out of that space. So I go out and I take a drive, and sometimes I'll listen to worship music. Sometimes I'll just straight up put on like rap music, hip hop music that I enjoy, and it will restore me and refresh me. And then after I have that moment where I get to listen to my music, I turn it all the way down. And it's just quiet, just me driving. I get to a quiet place, not on the freeway, not on busy roads, and I just will take a moment, whether it's down by the beach or through the mountains, and just have that conversation with God, and just start talking to God. And funny enough, the car actually, and Kelz will remember this, it actually used to be, it was the car, it was drives, but sometimes if I couldn't go out for a drive, I would go sit in my car in the garage, and I would like just blast worship music in my headphones. Didn't think anybody could hear me, but in the meantime, I'm in the car. Thank you, Lord. I'm
taking
like
out the trash.
screaming,
I'm like,
and is he? And eventually they got used to it. And they're like, okay, Ty must be needing some time.
hilarious.
We understand, and let's not bother him. Let's not knock on the window. Like he's
we
okay.
knew.
He's okay. But no, I separate myself from the noise. If we go back to that point, I separate myself from the noise. I unplug, listen to some music that I feel like is true to me. And then I get quiet, get still, and just allow myself to be refreshed and to receive my identity. And then another thing that I recently started, I have to mention this because it was something that you taught me. You said, before you step in anything, you should have I am statements. I have to remind myself of who I am. So every day, I don't just do it before I step into like a meeting or whatever. I do it at the top of the day in my time with God, whether it's the drive that I mentioned or whether it's me sitting in this specific spot that I like to sit in. And I list out the things that I am for that day, specifically looking at the tasks I have. You taught me this, but I'll look at them and I read them over. I meditate on them. I say them, and then I let that lead me right into my prayer. After I've set my identity before me again with God, and then I go into my prayer and let the Lord take the rest of it.
Love it.
So good.
Well, listening to all of your, first of all, the awareness that you have when you're out of balance, and the steps that you take and the disciplines that you employ in order to get back to balance, it's no wonder why you're successful. It's no wonder why you're influential. It's no wonder why things are working for you. And I'm so excited. And it is true, there's no, I was gonna say there's no magic formula to balance, but I wanna say it differently. What it takes to get back to balance will vary from person to person and scenario to scenario. What you might need in one moment to regain balance might be different from what you need. And guys, I love this conversation. I'm proud of you. Like, I mean, I'm just beyond thrilled to see what's happening in your life, and not just because you're doing well, but because you are well. And I know, and it's always been my prayer, my understanding that if I can do my part to help you be well, then you will do well. It just is what it is. And this book, Balance, ladies and gentlemen, it is all about being better, and it's changing lives already. And I pray that you can get a copy. You're not going to read this book one time and put it down. You're going to read it, and it's going to become a manual. The practical application, the stories, the insight on balance. And I fully and firmly and truly believe that as you get it in your spirit, you get it in your life, you're going to be positioned to do all things well. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you. God bless you. May you not only be blessed and beautiful, but may you be balanced.
Amen.
See you next time.